As part of International Dyslexia Day, we're bringing you a short podcast from the Language, Learning and Literacy Laboratory at Queen's University Belfast. So I'm Tim, I'm a researcher in the School of Psychology and I research developmental dyslexia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a PhD student and I was just recently diagnosed with dyslexia.
Thanks for being with us today, Olivia, to talk about dyslexia. In the lab, we've been doing a lot of work looking at how individuals with dyslexia process the sounds of words. Do you feel like you've had any difficulties over the years with the sounds of words?
Let me think about this. Probably yes. I think to me in the past and I don't know, obviously currently, they sound muddled sometimes. So they can all kind of blend into one and I can kind of lose track of or the focus of a conversation or whatever somebody's supposed to be saying.
So I know from your research that you know a bit about how people use lip movements to understand speech. So do you think that you might use lip movements more to understand speech than other people because you have dyslexia?
That's an interesting question. I don't really know, to be honest. I thought I do pay attention to people's faces and lip movements. But thinking about it, I probably am listening more to what they're saying and less about how they're saying it. Because I did a study recently and I realised I struggled to figure out what they were saying by just looking at their mouths moving but with no audio. Something that I didn't realise I struggled with until I did it and I had no idea what the person was saying. It was really, really hard.
I know as part of your work, Olivia, you've been measuring brain activity in autistic individuals. Do you think it's a really useful method for investigating what's going on in developmental dyslexia?
Well, I'd probably be a little bit biased, so I would say yes, definitely. It is very useful to find out what's going on inside a dyslexic person's brain when they're looking at words, speech perception, or just understanding general things in regards to language.
There's a lot of studies out there kind of focusing on what potentially are these difficulties that are experienced with those with developmental dyslexia. But we also know that individuals with dyslexia can be incredibly successful in life. You know, many are a fantastic businessman, for example. And we've started doing projects looking at what might influence the academic success of people with dyslexia. Do you have any idea what you think might have made you academically successful being someone with dyslexia?
I think it's a bit of a personal question because obviously I was only diagnosed late, so it was kind of missed all the way through primary school, secondary school. Although I'm, a middle-aged person, so I've gone through academia and things like that. As I have lost track of the question, which is very typical of a dyslexic person. There you go in action. I would think probably personality and perseverance or a strength of character, I guess, because you've got to get over the fact as you're going through academia and maybe if you're not receiving support to get over those difficulties, and they are difficulties, and disappointing people or teachers if you're not getting things correctly or how they expect you to do it. So it kind of builds on your character.
Thanks, Olivia. No, I think people often think of dyslexia as only affecting people's ability to read. So they think if things are being read to them, that will solve the problem. But, you may have difficulties organising your thoughts or being able to process things quickly. So is there anything you think people should know about the broader implications of having dyslexia?
I think it's really helpful to learn about strategies and organising. It's like organising thought, like a process to go through can really help in the sense of dyslexia of like, okay, so something's difficult to read or do or follow instructions. It could be simplified or made into better strategies where the person becomes more successful. Because I would probably say as well from my own point of view, I had to be a bit more organised in knowing what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and focusing on the things that I'm good at first and then dealing with all the other stuff later.
That's really interesting to hear. And one of the studies that we're conducting at the moment is looking at what may allow people with developmental dyslexia to be academically successful in school. And we're giving children and adults the opportunity to read little vignettes, little stories about experiences they may have not had, and trying to look at that against how well they've performed academically. Do you think this is a really useful way that research should be heading?
Yeah, I think sometimes in research, the researchers, scientists forget to go back to the actual people that they're supposed to be researching. They forget to connect on a human level, I think, as well. I think it's really important to go to that stage and keep returning to that stage, which I feel like scientists sometimes forget and get a bit lost in their own data. So yeah.
It would be fantastic to be able to capitalise on knowing what really allows people to be successful in school, in academia in general, even if they have dyslexia. So what is it that we can encourage, or what kind of environmental supports could we put in place to help children?
I think it'd be really interesting studying and looking at people who have excelled academically or in business or whichever, who are dyslexic, to see what it is that has helped them to get there compared to dyslexic individuals who are struggling, and take whatever that is, the essence of whatever that person has become successful in whatever domain they've picked, and feed that or give that to or help that person who is struggling, in my dyslexic rambling type of way, the way I've said that. I said that.
That's really fantastic. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you today. And if people are interested in some of the studies we're conducting, there'll be some links attached to this podcast. We really wish everyone a fantastic International Dyslexia Day from us at the Language Learning and Literacy Laboratory at Queen's. Thanks again, Livia.
Thank you.